Hey guys, Izzy here. So today I decided to react. Wow, that was horrible. To react to Molly Followed You. It's a creepypasta. I really like scary things. I'm like a nerd of scary things. Oh, in fact, if you have any scary movies that you've seen, suggest. Oh my gosh, I can't talk today. Suggest them to me, and I will totally watch them because I love horror movies. I'll watch any horror movie you suggest to me. So far, actually, I've watched like 55 horror movies, but that doesn't matter right now. Right now, we are interested in reacting to Molly Followed You. So let's get started.
This is the end for me.
It is.
This is really it. Do you ever wish you could go back and erase just one mistake?
Yeah.
I know I do. As a matter of fact, I can't think of anything I want more than to go back to a time before I stepped into this mess and do things differently. I can't go on like this, looking over my shoulder all the time.
Is he planning to kill himself?
For me, the never-ending nightmare began about 8 months ago. I was still living in Florida with my parents at 19 years old. I decided college wasn't for me, and I was working for a friend of the family. I was bored one night while home alone and got on a site called Chat Random. It's kind of like Omegle or Chat Roulette. You just turn on your webcam and the website will pair you with a random stranger to chat with.
Oh, no, never mind, that's not like Skype.
It's pretty dumb, but I was hoping I would maybe end up face to face with a pretty girl. I knew the odds weren't in my favour, but hey, sometimes you get lucky. Pathetic, I know. Anyway, I spent most of my time hitting the next button, only to be greeted over and over by some dude.
Oh.
Well, if you've ever been on one of these sites, you know how that goes. I'll spare you the graphic details, but I saw more of that than anything else.
Disgusting.
And I don't remember exactly how long I was lying there, hitting the next button, but eventually I just dozed off and fell asleep in front of the laptop. I woke up around 9:30. I must have turned over in my sleep because when I opened my eyes, I was looking out of my bedroom window, and I had my back to the laptop, which was sitting open on the nightstand next to my bed. I rubbed my eyes and rolled to face the laptop once again. I opened my eyes and was startled by what I saw. My muscles tightened for a moment and I froze. I found myself face to face with a girl.
A girl?
On my computer screen, the Chat Random page was still active and the site had connected me with some girl in the UK.
Well, that's cool.
She sat alone in the dark, directly in front of a webcam, staring at me and grinning.
That's creepy.
I'll never forget that face. As long as I live, I will never forget that face. Red hair, dark eyes, pale skin. I can picture it so vividly. I close my eyes and I still see it. The most unsettling image I've ever seen was burned into my brain that day. That smile. It was almost like it didn't belong to her face. Her black, soulless eyes studied me, and as I examined the image, I could see subtle movement, so I knew this wasn't a freeze frame.
That's creepy.
She was watching me, live on webcam.
She was watching you sleep. That's
Those cold eyes followed me as I sat up in bed. She never said a word. She just stared at me. The tiny blue light on my webcam informed me that I was still visible. I quickly closed the browser and shut my laptop.
I would.
After the initial shock, a million thoughts began to race through my head, and the questions I was left asking myself still haunt me to this day. How long had she been watching me? Was she just staring at me?
That's creepy.
What was she smiling for?
I would never sleep again if I saw her staring at me.
I guess that is the difference between horrific and creepy, isn't it? The horror is in the answers you are forced to see, while creepy is the product of unanswered questions. I got up out of bed and took a shower. The incident had creeped me out, to say the least. But
sorry. Hold on just a second. Sorry, I had to adjust my camera. I don't know if it was off screen or not, but I thought it was.
I got up out of bed and took a shower. The incident had creeped me out, to say the least. But I did my best to shake it off and get her face out of my head. I remember being afraid to close my eyes in the shower because I had creeped myself out further with the thought that I might open my eyes and see her face if I did.
Oh my gosh, I have that same experience. Like if I get done watching something really scary and it's like about a girl or something, I always have a hard time closing my eyes in the shower because I always think that they're going to appear just right there next to you. And I know if someone did appear right next to me in the shower or something, I would have like the slowest reflex, or I would just fall. I don't know why, but if someone scares me, I just fall over. I don't react, I just fall. That's all I do. But I have punched my mom in the face before because she came around the corner. But that was the only reaction. That was the only fast react I had when someone scared me. Other times, I just fall over. I have no clue why, but I do. Alright, back to the thing.
So, I didn't wash my face or hair. Sometimes my imagination gets rolling and I wind up scaring myself more than any horror movie could hope to. By that night, I had put the scare out of my mind and was happily distracted by video games with friends. Mike, Trevor, Marshall and I had spent the evening hanging out, watching Vines and playing video games. My parents, who were out of town for the week, called to see how things were going, and after that, I logged into Twitter while the guys continued gaming. A message notified me that I had one new follower. I don't have many followers on Twitter, so I was interested to see who @TooPrettyMolly could be. Maybe a girl from school?
Uh-oh.
It wasn't from school. No.
Probably that girl.
But I knew the face in the profile picture. It was the girl from Chat Random. The exact same sinister smirk I was greeted by that very morning was still plastered on her face. I jumped back in my rolling chair with a gasp as I covered my mouth in disbelief. Trevor asked me if I was alright, but all I could do was shake my head and say, "There's no way," over and over again. I couldn't believe it.
Him.
I didn't want to believe that this was really happening. I felt like I was going to throw up, and I remember I was trembling. Trevor said I looked like I'd seen a ghost. The guys came over to see what I was looking at, and that's when I told them what happened that morning. I think they were all pretty disturbed by my account, but they quickly resorted to joking about it. I guess in an attempt to offer some comic relief and break the tension in the room. We were all creeped out, but for me, there was no comfort to be found in their psycho ex-girlfriend remarks. Mike suggested a reverse image search to see if her profile picture had been taken from somewhere else online, but the search yielded no results. Questions flooded my mind as I stared, dumbfounded at her profile page.
Oh.
Why doesn't she follow anyone else on Twitter? Is this a new Twitter account? When did she...
Oh, so creepy.
How did she find me? Does she have some sort of facial recognition software? How did she even know where to begin looking? Was there some clue as to my identity visible on camera in my room in the morning? I mean, who knows how long she was watching me there in my room?
Yeah.
My friends tried to get my mind off it, but it was no use. We hung out for a bit longer, but eventually they all went home and I was left alone with my face on the computer screen.
I wouldn't want to go with them.
I sat on the couch watching TV. My laptop sat open on the table in front of me. My imagination had paralyzed me. I was paralyzed by fear.
Wouldn't blame you.
I got it in my head that if I opened the blinds and looked out the living room window, I would see her. standing there. I wanted so badly to open those blinds and make this frightening thought disappear, but I couldn't. I knew it was a ridiculous idea, and I tried to tell myself that. Whoever she was across the ocean in the UK somewhere, and she couldn't hurt me.
True.
I'm safe
you don't
here,
know if she's in
I
the
told
UK.
myself.
Probably just
She can't find me. By 2 a.m, I wasn't even paying attention to the TV anymore. I guess I just needed it for the background noise.
It's kind of what
As
I
if
do
in a
when I'm
trance,
home alone.
I watched lions rip antelopes to shreds on the Discovery Channel and sipped on an energy drink. The trance was broken by a loud, crashing sound coming from the direction of the kitchen.
Oh crap! She's in the
I
house.
jumped like 10 feet
Jeez. Oh,
and
jeez.
immediately grabbed the nearest hard object,
Oh my god.
which I'm pretty sure was a scented candle jar. I moved to the corner of the room furthest from...
I am not faking this. Like, I'm right now so scared. I have goosebumps up and down my arms. Because if this happened to me, I would be screaming. I wouldn't be calm. Well, I guess he's not calm either. But I would be screaming. Or grabbing a gun. Why is he not calling the police? I don't know. Okay. Let's continue.
in the kitchen and crouched, weapon in hand, and watched the kitchen doorway. I was sweating profusely and trying to breathe as quietly as possible. I was huddled in that corner for a couple minutes until my cat came strolling casually through the doorway.
Oh.
Stupid cat. Must have knocked over the pile of dishes in the sink. I'm fairly sure I cursed him out before eventually putting the jar back on the coffee table and returning to my seat on the couch. When I sat down, I noticed that Molly had tweeted at me. I reluctantly checked the notification, hoping and praying that somehow this tweet would explain away my fears. I thought I might be able to get some answers that would put my mind at ease. The page loaded. The tweet read, "I love your cat."
What? Oh my gosh!
My
That's
eyes widened,
freaky.
and I could feel my heart racing. There was a
There's no
picture
way.
attached to the tweet. The
Minute,
image
stop it.
was a close-up of her head. She was smiling and holding something up to her face. A cat. She was holding a cat that looked an awful lot like mine.
Oh my gosh, that is so creepy.
I felt my stomach drop and I thought my heart was going to burst out of my chest.
I'd run out of the house.
I was afraid to look around me. Was she in the house?
Where
I
is she?
couldn't believe this was happening.
I'd run out of the
I
house.
felt tears welling up in my eyes. I've never been so scared, and I knew I had to move. But it was as though I was stuck. It took all the willpower I could muster to force myself off the couch, and I bolted straight for the front door.
See, that's what I would
I
have done.
ran to my car, reached the driver's side door and realised, much to my dismay, that I had left the car keys on the kitchen counter.
Oh jeez.
I was panicking and breathing heavily,
Where's the
looking around
neighbors?
frantically in all directions for any sign of her. I looked back at my house, my eyes darting from window to window. I took to the street and made a mad dash for the well-lit area across from the entrance to my neighbourhood. I didn't have any plan or clear idea about what I must have looked like at that moment. I had no clue what was supposed to happen next, but I just needed to get someplace public.
Yeah.
Eventually, after calling Trevor, who managed to calm me down a bit, I went to the police and explained what had
Finally you go
happened.
to the police. Jeez.
They went to my house to check things out. The house was in perfect order. There were no signs of forced entry. My cat was still there and perfectly fine as far as they could tell. They eventually made it clear to me that their part in this story was over, and that there was nothing more they could do.
Oh, that sucks.
I was angry about that at the time,
I would be
but
too.
looking back on it, what more could I expect them to do?
Well, yeah, I guess.
There were no reports of suspicious activity in the area. There was no evidence indicating my home had been broken into.
Midnight, shut up.
No evidence of any crime whatsoever.
Sorry, Midnight.
And, on top of that, the only person who could be called a suspect was mostly on a different continent. And yes, I showed them the picture of the girl with the cat, but they made the point that it could have easily been another cat. And the poor quality of the image made it hard to pick out any distinct features on the cat she was holding. And yes, I told them about the suspicious circumstances of the eerily timed tweet. But one of the officers I spoke with theorized that the timing of the tweet was coincidental. He suggested that perhaps this girl saw my cat on camera before I woke up, or in a Twitter picture, and wanted to show me that she had a similar looking cat.
No, I'm pretty sure she's just a creep.
Of course, didn't buy that theory at all.
I wouldn't either.
But again, what more could I expect the officer to do with literally zero evidence of any actual crime?
Find the girl, kill her,
and
be
as awkward
fine.
as it is
That's what you should
to watch
do.
a stranger sleep, I voluntarily accessed the website and, in doing so, agreed to allow the website access to my webcam. Although the officer admitted that he wasn't sure how she found me on Twitter, he still maintained he had no evidence whatsoever that any crime was committed, and all he was really willing to do at the point was give me a lecture on being safe on the internet.
Oh,
like
that's nice.
I was a child or something.
It's not
I dropped it though, because after the feeling of utter terror had subsided, I became self-aware once again and realised how this might look to a cop. Since my own parents, after they returned home and I told them this story, asked me if I had been using drugs.
What?
I guess I was right about how crazy I must have sounded. I deleted my Twitter account, moved into an apartment with my buddy Mike, and I never went on one of those random chat sites again. I also never heard from Molly again. Until today.
Oh, jeez.
Today, I received an email from an address I did not recognize with the subject line, "I'd follow you anywhere." The email contained only one sentence. "You are so beautiful."
What?
With a smiley face.
That is freaking
and
creepy.
it was signed, "Your Molly forever."
What? Oh my gosh.
Attached to the email was a picture. In the image, you can clearly see a woman's hand gently pulling back a shower curtain, just enough for the camera to peer into the shower. It was my shower. Standing under the shower head was a man with his back to the camera. The picture was of me.
Oh my gosh.
Washing my hair.
That is horrifying. Oh. Okay, well, that was Molly Follows You. That was just scary. Like, if that girl was following me, I would be hyped. And she took a picture of me, I would never be by myself again. I would, like, carry a gun with me everywhere I went. And, I don't know, do something. That is just creepy. And then I would have someone, like, next to the bathroom door, so then this girl wouldn't, like, take pictures of me. And when she said, "Molly, I would follow you anywhere," that is just creepy. Like, if I had that email sent to me, I'd be like, "No, you're not. You're not gonna follow me." I don't know. Actually, I don't know what I would do. But that is just creepy. Okay, I'm not gonna sleep ever again either. But yeah, well, that was Molly Follows You. Sorry, I'm looking everywhere right now. Like, I have a feeling that Molly is just gonna appear around the corner or in the window or something. Hopefully, that'd be creepy if someone just did that. I'd probably scream. Anyway, so I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you want me to react to any more creepypastas, I will. So yeah, see you guys. Bye!